Welcome back, everyone, and I do mean everyone. It's Forgotten Circus. So the Acolyte's coming out, and I guess all the prerequisites for it, you don't have to know absolutely anything about Star Wars at all to be in it or be casted in it. It's not a requirement, prerequisite, anything like that. You could just join on board and read the script. Who cares about lore and actual material that actually created Star Wars and made Star Wars at its height where it was? Yeah, you don't need any of that. You can just play the character because apparently that's what they're doing. And I want this show, The Acolyte, to be good. It has like visually it looks good, but is it going to be good? Because we've been fooled before. So apparently there was an interview on Collider, and now I want you to know again, you don't have to know anything about Star Wars, even when you're doing interviews. And some say he misspoke. Okay, but multiple times you said the same thing, so I'm going to get into that. So apparently, the actor Charlie Barnett, which is playing Yord Fandar, right, new character from the High Republic. They're asking him questions, and he's responding in such a manner, very, very prestigious manner. And then it just goes south. This guy literally said when Anakin blew up the Death Star, once, then he did it twice during an interview about Star Wars, The Acolyte, Star Wars, The Acolyte, that Anakin blew up the Death Star. So that just doesn't calculate right, because how could Anakin blow up the Death Star that he was helping build with Emperor Palpatine? Doesn't doesn't add up. So that's why, like, it really bothers me that he has said something like that, and it's like, oh, he misspoke or whatever. No, so that means you've never seen any of the movies. You've never seen the trench run, one of the greatest space scenes, actually one of the greatest battle scenes ever in any movie, whether it's fiction, science fiction, you know, any movie. The trench run, stay on target, stay on target. I mean, and you could tell like he doesn't know. And that's not, I don't blame, well, I do kind of blame, what? I do blame him. I blame him and like Kathleen Kennedy and Fort Headland, because something as simple as that, the trench run. All right, let me school you on this. The first trench run, or well, basically the only real trench run, um, was Luke and Han that actually destroyed the first Death Star, and then it was Lando and Wedge on the second one. So if you watch the movies, you'd be able to understand that. So that means you didn't watch anything. I get it if you haven't grown up with Star Wars, you were never really into Star Wars, but if you're going to be in a product and a big brand name like Lucasfilm Star Wars, you can at least watch the first three movies. And you probably should watch the prequels. If you're in the High Republic, this is all going to lead into that. Wouldn't you want to do your research a little bit? That's a huge mistake. It's not it's one of those, we can tell because you were saying it so passionately that, oh yeah, yeah, that's what, like, it was the real thing. And real Star Wars fans and people that know the lore and everything, yeah. And then we're sitting there like, no, that's not what happened. And can we give props to Wedge Antilles? I don't know what, he is the most underrated character I think in Star Wars, but besides like Max Rebo, from the greatest band ever assembled in the cantina. But Wedge Antilles was such a big part in both. That dude was ride or die for Luke. Luke had to tell him to pull out, go. Yeah. So I got to give my man Wedge some respect because this guy survives it all, literally. Spoiler alert. But to say that Anakin, like, do your research, and you could see Long Lee Jong Jae and Daphne Keene were like, oh no, he didn't watch the movies. It's one of those where it looked awkward during the interview, and you could tell they're trying to be like, and when he put Long GJ or Lee J Jong Lee J, let me get his name right. It's South Korea. Wait, yeah. Let me. All right, Lee Jong Jae. I'm sorry. I apologize. I really do. Was like put his head down and was like, oh no. No, 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 no. Because Star Wars is huge in South Korea. I was actually stationed there. I was former military. So I know them when they take Star Wars seriously. Can we get a Star Wars movie out of South Korea? Like a part it'll be dope. And then Daphne Keene sitting there and the girl is still young, but you can tell she puts her all into her characters. Look at her and Logan and his what was it, his Dark Materials? Yeah, they know it. So I don't want to hear this excuse, especially with him. You couldn't watch the three movies. You're doing a Star Wars thing. At least hop into the lore a little bit. And I'm disappointed in Kathleen Kennedy because you're not even coaching these people. And Ashley Foreheadland, who knows what's going on with that woman? But yeah, coach these people. Like I don't. It's not an excuse because people will say, "Oh, Kathleen Kennedy ruined Star Wars." Yeah, in a way she did, but she knows Star Wars. I'll give her that. She was right there with Lucas with all those projects. So she knows Star Wars. I bet you could and I'm giving credit to her for some odd reason, but I bet you if you were to sit down with Kathleen Kennedy and do a Star Wars battle on like knowledge, she would probably win. Her problem was she tried to rewrite what was already good. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And some of the mismanagement of the shows and stuff I don't appreciate, and how she basically George Lucas passed the torch to her, and she just did a total 180 to what was agreed upon. But yeah, and then he talks about the Jedi being like godlike beings. Yes, they are powerful. We've never considered them like real Star Wars people and fans and know the lore. Never said they were like godlike beings. They were able to manipulate and use the force more than your regular human being. But there's a lot of characters that are regular human beings and they're, i.e., like Han, Lando. See, these are legacy characters. Charlie, whatever his name is, Yord Landar, whatever you're playing. These are characters that you would know that are human. I mean, look at the Mandalorians and stuff. They don't use the Force. The Force is selected. It doesn't matter. It's the person. They're like the superheroes, but if you want to talk about godlike beings, what about Abeloth? Know your lore. What about Abeloth? The space whales are more godlike beings than Jedi and Sith. Now, some are powerful. But can you crush a whole universe? Abeloth, the ones, the wills. I mean, I could take it back to Darth Vishit, the Valkorian. Those aren't even like godlike beings, and they're still more powerful than most of your Jedi. So, all I'm saying is, it seems like nobody's doing the research anymore in these things. It's just they just hire people, and then they're like, "Yeah, you don't have to do it. Just read the script." But as an actor, you got to put it. You got to put it all in. As an actor or actress, you guys get paid a lot of money for a lot of fun. I know it's grueling. You have to go to certain locations and stuff, but you're getting paid to do that. You know, it's like, would you rather work at Target or would you rather be on the set of The Acolyte as a lead role? I'm confused here. All you had to do was watch 3 movies, and if you wanted to add an extra bonus, extra credit, you could have watched the prequels. And if you want to get a little, and so that means you've never watched Rogue One. You don't know how many people the rebels sacrificed to just get a disc so they get the plans for the Death Star to blow it up not once but twice. You don't even know that either. And that's in your era. That Rogue One is in this era because it was after the purchase of Lucasfilm. So you can tell you haven't even watched that, which is unfortunate. And then then he proceeds to insist, well, yeah, well, millions of people or billions of people died on the Death Star when it got blown up, and we don't like. What do you say? Like, kind of talk about that. I don't know. I was just watching. I was just dumbfounded. I just like turned off and like, go to my happy place. 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 Why? Why? You know what I mean? Yes. So they're saying there's called war. It's a battle for for who's right, who's wrong. That does happen, and there is collateral damage sometimes. And if you're on a ship and you're working on that ship, if you're on that ship, you know what that ship or space station or Death Star, which is the size of a darn planet. If you're on that and you're part of that side, that ship can blow up another planet like you have before. What do you think? They're just all the X wings and the Rebel Alliance going to pull up X wing, B wing, be like, please evacuate the Death Star. Please evacuate the Death Star. If you are innocent, please evacuate. No, it's a war. So that thing can take out whole planets, whole galaxies that actually wanted to, that just kept firing. Why did they never have like rapid fire on it? I know when they have to charge it up and everything, it takes a long time, all the power cells, but yeah. And let's give a shout out to the Death Star, the Death Star, the ones that are never heralded. You know, the ones with the little black mask with the little. It's kind of like the Egyptian, Egyptian look. Let's give it up for them, man. They put in a lot of work, and the engineers. Yeah, but yeah, it blows up. So what? They're just gonna ask everybody, please evacuate. Everybody get off. But then again, I don't know. So yeah, yeah, millions probably did die on the Death Star, but they were doing the same thing. That's how that works. It's a war. It's a battle. What are they supposed to be like? No, you think the Empire is going to stop? That's why they had to stand up. And then again, now that you look at it from the other side, you're like, wait a second, was the Empire a little bit better? Because they had everything in like complete order, or did they? Because then you had the Rebel Alliance. So just know your. It's just I don't know how. Like, wasn't that pre-recorded too? Couldn't you cut stuff out? Maybe that's one time we would accept it. Like, oh, okay, something happened right there. Maybe somebody just I don't know why that wasn't edited, and then go back to them like, hey, we have to. Y'all do movies and entertainment all the time. You should be able. I don't understand during an interview. Was it live? If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. If it was live, then. But if it wasn't and was pre-recorded and taped, I'd have been like, wait a second. Yo, pull that out. We're gonna go back. We're gonna school this guy really quick on what to say. And then after that, if I was Kathleen Kennedy and For Headland, after that, if you're doing more seasons of The Acolyte, I would be like, yeah, from now on, it's mandatory. Everybody at least watch 3 movies of Star Wars. 3, except for the last 3. You got to watch the prequels. You have to, except for the last 3. Just I'm trying to really like this show, but I know it's going to be a mess. It's the build up, and the thing that worries me is about the early critic reviews saying it's so great and everything. We've heard that so much before, but we'll see. Yeah, So apparently, I'm overqualified if I were to go audition for a role in Star Wars. I guess I would be overqualified. And I'm not the biggest Star Wars. I know people way bigger than me. And they're probably going to cut this up a little bit and like, hey, you messed up on that one. Yeah. But Wedge was there, man. If you notice this thing, there's people that I know that are like that. But I do love Star Wars and I definitely know more than that. But obviously, I'm overqualified. So, and I don't even know how to act. But I can still go on there and be able to do lore. Like, but I don't know. That's pretty weird, and I feel bad that he's getting all this backlash. But yet again, another long video. Oops. But tell me what you think. Do you think this is a total mess and the total travesty of someone saying that Anakin blew up the Death Star? Yeah, that's pretty weird. But I want everyone to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying to build this channel, trying to get to 1K. All it takes is one little click, one little subscribe click, and then you're there. And then you can go on this journey with me. So, all right, everyone subscribe, and I do mean everyone.